us for EARNNEST are electronic EMD deposits. A couple of things that we'll talk about is just please be cognizant, please be aware that you may not submit a request through this system if you do not have a ratified contract in .loop. If you don't have a ratified contract in .loop, do not send a request because you can mess up our system, and messing up the system includes you shutting down the system for the other agents in your office to be able to use the system. So that's going to be my little soapbox to start the session. I'm going to turn it over to Blaine and Jenna, and they are going to do our presentation. So Blaine, Jenna, thank you again for being with us, and it's all yours.
Well, thank you very much, Tim. Thanks, folks, for having us on today. We're excited to present to you. EARNNEST was formed back in 2017, folks, just to give you a little bit of back history. It was formed back in 2017. It was formed by mega agents and technology officers who kind of put their heads together and went, there's got to be a better way than wires, because fraud is increasing and wires are expensive. And there's got to be a better way than chasing down checks or having to constantly remind the buyer to get the check to where it needs to be. Especially during this time of COVID. In addition to that, this is an added impetus. It is a great time to be able to simply make the request for your earnest money from your phone or from the .loop app, that is. So what I want to make sure that we have for you guys is a clear pathway. And what we're going to do here is have Jenna, who is my associate here at EARNNEST. She's going to walk you through the .loop request side of it, which is an incredible integration we have, folks. It's so simple for you all. And then from there, we'll show just briefly about a minute and a half long video showing what the buyer experiences. And then what I'll do is just walk you through key portions of the video explaining what's going on behind the scenes as the buyer is just interacting with the interface, showing you some of the benefits to you as well as the buyer. So Jenna, with that, I'll let you jump in, show our .loop integration. I'll be manning the chat in that time period, and fire away with your questions, folks, okay?
All righty, thank you, Blaine. I am sharing my screen. Can you see this yet? Good, okay, excellent. So I am within .loop. I am here, as Tim mentioned, I have a fully ratified contract. So I am ready to request my earnest money. I will enter my loop, and I've completed all of my contract work from within .loop. So all the information really that I need for my request is going to auto-populate for me. If you've written a contract within .loop, you know they have that autofill feature, which is great. You can see I already have my buyer's information, I have my property address, and I have my earnest money amount, the three pieces that I'm gonna need for this request. However, if you have not been using .loop for the contract work, if you are uploading a PDF, so you're not going to have these features in here, that is perfectly fine. We can fill out any missing pieces of information once we hit send earnest request. But for me, I have all this information. I'm ready to go. I'm going to hit send earnest request up here in the top right. It's going to be right next to your submit for review button. We tell you a little bit more about EARNNEST, but Blaine has already taken care of that for me, so I'm going to hit continue. And we do have you log in here with your email address. I already have an account, so it's just going to send me my 6-digit security code. And we do this each time. There's no password that you have to remember. It's just an added layer of security here. 383642. If you do not already have an account with EARNNEST, at this point we'll prompt you to create one. Just takes a few seconds. But here I am, it pulls me right up to my request. As you can see, the information that I mentioned before has pulled in for me already. So I have Blaine's information, he's my buyer today. I have his email address, mobile phone number, the earnest money amount, and the property address from our contract. So the only thing that's left for me to do is select my preferred escrow holder. And this is going to filter by Virginia escrow holders, and then it's going to start showing the escrow holders based on what I start typing in. So this is very important for y'all. Make sure that you start typing in your correct office name and your manager as well. So for this example, I'm going to start typing in Fohar. And that's going to bring up Norfolk Vohar for me. That's the office that I want today.
Hey, Jenna, can I just jump in real quick?
Please.
So since everyone is in a mixed grouping here, you all will want to put in your manager's name. So you're not looking for an office per se. If you're in one of the offices, such as the beach office with Jay Mitchell, Beach, Strawbridge, Oceanfront, you'll just look for his last name, Mitchell, is what you're looking for. Same thing with John Powell, who's got multiple offices, Regina Scott. So you'll be looking for your manager's last name. Thanks, Jenna.
Perfect. Thanks, Tim. Alrighty. So one question. Yes, go ahead.
Is it possible to, if they wanted an attorney to hold the money, to send to an attorney, or not through this portal?
Yeah, this portal is only for us as Berkshire Hathaway holding it. If they want to send it to an attorney and the attorney wants to sign up for Earnest, they can absolutely do that. But this is ours, Berkshire Hathaway's tool. So that would be up to the attorney and how they want to handle those.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We do have several escrow holders that are attorneys in our system. So feel free to search for your attorney if they're the one that's holding the Earnest money. If they have already signed up with an Earnest, we do have a pretty strict vetting process, then you're welcome to select them as your escrow holder. So here we do ask that you select that the above listed escrow holder is the one on the purchase contract. This is just an extra safe hold for you guys to make sure that you're checking your work. Yes, this is the correct account that I want my buyer to send money to. And for me, that looks correct. We do show you who's kept in the loop. So Jenna at Earnest, that's me. I'm the agent requester today. Blaine, he's my buyer. And then also my escrow holder here. You can see that we're all going to receive these notification emails, which Blaine will show you in just a little bit. As soon as the Earnest money is paid, and then our escrow holder and buyer will receive one when the money is deposited as well. So you'll know as soon as your buyer interacts and hits pay Earnest money. And all I have to do here is hit request $1,000. This is a live environment, so I'm not going to hit request, but that's my last piece. And then an email will be sent to the buyer to be able to complete the request. Do we have any questions on the agent side here before I turn it over to Blaine to show you what your buyer will see?
This is Lisa. I have a question. You mentioned that if we're not set up in Earnest yet, when we're prompted, when we put in select Earnest deposit or ready for Earnest deposit in .loop, that we'll have to sign up. At that point, can we sign up then, or do we sign up ahead of time?
It will take you through the process to sign up. Really, it's just your first, last name, your email, and your phone number is all it's going to ask you for.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Any other questions?
All right, folks, we'll keep the questions coming. The chat is open, and we're going to leave plenty of time after as well for questions. But I'll go ahead and share my screen so you can all see exactly what the buyer experiences. Everybody see my screen okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, this is just a short video showing what the buyer sees when you generated your completed request, entered your escrow holder name, your specific manager of your specific office, and then gone ahead and clicked send on that payment request.
Enter your email address and click continue. A one-time use code will be sent to your email. Enter it here. Complete the form to create your Earnest account. When everything is correct, click create. Verify that all the information shown is correct.
So folks, I'm going to pause the video at key points. So you see there for the buyer, the interaction with the request is very, very simple. They only have to enter the same 4 pieces of information that you all have to enter when you create your account. First, last name, email, mobile phone number. Then we put this next screen up in front of them before they get into what we call the buyer's hub, so they can make sure that everything is accurate. If there is a mistake at this point, the buyer has a chance to stop before clicking this is correct and give you guys as the agent a call.
Then click this is correct. If there are any errors, contact your real estate agent who will issue a corrected request. Next, click confirm identity. Complete the form with your information, then select submit. Next,
So they fly through that, but I want to stop. The only piece of information they're adding, everything is pre-populating. They're just very quickly putting in their current address and their last 4 of their social. And almost in real time, folks, when they click on that confirm identity, That's actually what we're really going to do for them. It's a value add to you guys, where we'll confirm and make sure the buyer is who they say they are. That happens in seconds, doesn't slow the buyer down at all, and that is done.
You will verify your bank account. EARNNEST uses Plaid to verify and link your bank. This process is both secure and private. Click Use Plaid and then Continue. Select your bank or use the search bar to locate your bank. Establish a secure, temporary connection to your bank by logging in using your banking credentials. Select the account from which to pay your EARNNEST money and then click Continue. Click Review and Pay to check that all your details are accurate. When everything looks good.
So folks, it's just about to go to the last screen and really literally click Authorize. But I want to stop you here and make sure that it's clear what's happening with that that actual account verification. That is an incredible service that EARNNEST has figured out a way to work with Plaid, that we will actually verify that the buyer has sufficient funds in their account to make the transaction go forward. And over 90% of the cases, it'll be real time. Like right there, as the buyer has connected with their bank, we'll verify right there that they have sufficient funds. And if they don't, we'll make them go back and add a different account, or simply start over and add a whole new account altogether. All that to say, folks, that is a great stopgap for you guys. Most of you have probably dealt with at some point a bounce check, and you know the chaos that can create in terms of your timeline. This is going to, in 90+% of the cases, just shut that down cold and not allow for it. Or in the few cases that remain where the request does go forward, you'll still get the alert within probably 24 hours, 1 to 2 business days at most. Hey, this buyer does not have the sufficient funds, and that'll come via an email alert to you. So that's an incredible service where hopefully we are going to save you guys time and pain down the road by making sure the buyer has the money they need.
And you're ready to proceed, click Pay EARNNEST Money. And that's it. Congratulations, you've paid your EARNNEST money.
So before I show a receipt here, folks, I want to go back here. I'll stop sharing my screen for just a moment. What questions do we have so far? Any questions at all so far before I reshare my screen and we go ahead and look at a receipt? Okay, well, feel free to use the chat. Jump in here and I'll share my screen again, folks. And folks, as I'm transitioning screens here, we do have a little bit of a higher COVID rate here in Greenville County. So all 3 of my kids are home with me today. And what that means is you may hear some unexpected noise in the background, and I apologize for that in advance. All right, folks. So this is what the request looks like. Everybody see my screen okay? This is what the buyer actually receives. And we're very formal here in a very succinct way. We want to make sure they feel comfortable with EARNNEST. Obviously, if you guys have done a buyer's presentation, which I believe you all do, they already will have been introduced to EARNNEST by you guys at that point, or probably should have been. But if not, even if it's totally cold and they still have to give you guys a call, we branded these emails in such a way that they're going to learn a little bit about us, our security, and very importantly, folks, be introduced right away to our support team. That support team is there every day, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, Eastern Standard Time, to make sure if buyers call in, whether they're stuck on the first screen or any of the screens, that they have support there to be walked through it. We don't want that having to fall to you guys. That's something we will take care of. But if they want to, they can go ahead right then and click on Pay EARNNEST Money, and that initiates the process you just saw in that video. With that said, once they've completed and authorized the process, show here. Let's see, let me find one that's actually a completed receipt here, folks. Here you go, right here, folks. These are the receipts that Jenna referenced earlier. And the nice thing about these receipts, we call this bridging the gap. Basically, we've been able to make sure that multiple parties, not just the payer and the receiver, but multiple parties, including the escrow holder or even the lender, if you wanted to add them onto the receipt chain, they can all see exactly where the money is at any point. And that includes when it's paid, when the buyer hits authorize in our system, and this receipt you see here is generated. It also will include when the money is deposited, folks. The buyer and the escrow holder will both be alerted then as well. And a receipt includes a lot on it, folks. You can download these receipts as you see for your records, but you can also have all the information right here and know that your buyer is seeing the exact same thing, folks. So all this information is included, including the originating account and the destination account. And that can be a good thing for your lender if you want to include them on this chain. With all that said, folks, the last thing I'll mention, since the last time we did this presentation, we've had one huge update. We have always been 3 to 5 day deposit times. That, by the way, is the amount of time it takes a check to deposit. When you cash that check, it's not actually deposited for 3 or 5 business days. We're proud to announce that EARNNEST is now on the vast majority, about 90 to 95% of our transactions, running at 1 to 3 business days. And the majority of those are actually 1 to 2 business days. So that is an exciting development for your back office in particular. You already know when a buyer clicks authorize in our system. One of our unique features is there's no chargeback pullback. So that paid receipt you guys receive, that money can only move one way. But with that said, we've now got the deposit times down to 1 or 2 days from that authorization. So that is a huge new feature for you guys. We're excited to present that. With that said, let's open the floor up for questions and make sure we take care of those for you guys. And Tim, add anything we missed.
I think we've got the show figured out now, so I think we're good.
Okay, and obviously,
let's see. There's a question just popped up here. Let me see. Switch over. Are agents mapped to their broker? Meaning, if an agent selects the incorrect manager, no, correct. We are not mapped. You are not mapped. You have to make sure you choose the right manager. So make sure you are choosing Vohar, Mitchell, Scott, Davis, Powell, Monroe, or Kays. And I don't think there's any New Homes people. So, but if there's New Homes, that would be Smith. So, yeah, if you're choosing your manager, you choose it. You pick the wrong one. The money's going to the wrong account. Causes us an issue. So please make sure you're putting it into the one that has your manager's name.
This is Lisa. I have a question. What if you would like to add a lender or someone that was not on the initial process when you first started?
This is just for Berkshire Hathaway. If you're trying to have the EMD held to somebody else, that would be that person would hold the EMD. That would be them contacting EARNNEST and setting up their own account.
Lisa, are you talking about the email receipts?
Right.
Right. That's what I was talking
sorry.
about.
Sorry.
Okay.
You would just be able to forward that email that you received right to the lender. That would be the way right now.
Thank you.
With that question, I'll add in that right now the staff are trained when those receipts come in to add the verification of funds, not the first one, but the second one, to your dot loop so that you can have that and be able to share that with the co-broke that would need that.
Perfect.
So that will be happening by the admin. So if you do make a request, say Friday afternoon after 5 through Saturday, Sunday, that will not show up in the account until it is on Monday. Or if you make the request, but the money shows up, in that time period, it wouldn't show up till Monday when staff came in. Loop and EARNNEST are working on an integration that is to be out sometime late first quarter, and that will actually automatically put those receipts into your loops for you. So the staff will put in the second one when it comes in, so that's there for you guys. Otherwise, it'll go automatically, hopefully sometime in the first quarter.
And Tim, you might be able to answer Kimberly's question. With an unknown number of days for the deposit to occur, should we change the number of days for the deposit to our company on page 1 to 5 days?
So with this request, when you make the request from EARNNEST, you're going to be doing that within the 2 days, Kimberly. And when you make that request within the 2 days, EARNNEST guarantees that it's going to be there within the 5 days. So as long as you have the confirmation from your client that they submitted it, it will be within the 5 days that deposit will happen, or you will be given the notification that it's not, and you can change and amend the contract after that. But it should fit within the time frame as long as you have them make the request within the 2 days.
And that's really great, Tim. If I can just add to that too, that is the one critical thing. You guys at BHHS are doing an incredible job. We look on the back end of following up right away with your buyer and letting them know, hey, you have this email now. Go interact with it and get it done, because that is the one thing that can cause a delay. When we see the system not work, it's quite literally when the buyer hasn't interacted quickly enough with the actual request. If they do that promptly and authorize it right away, you should never see an issue.
Any other questions? You can raise your hand, chat, unmute yourself.
Yeah, questions or even thoughts. Does this sound like a tool that that you're looking forward to have for digital payments?
All right, I don't see anybody unmuting. I don't see any hands. I don't see any chat going on. So I want to thank Jenna and Blaine for being here again with us. They were with me last month for a bunch of sessions, and I appreciate your time. I appreciate you all helping us get this program up and running. For those of you that were on the first call, the second call, thank you for joining us today. Oh, did I hear that correct? Do we have support over the weekend with EARNNEST?
Hopefully I didn't say that incorrectly. I tried to, that's Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 on Monday through Friday business days. If we do see that calls have come in over the weekend, that is the very first thing our support team will reach out on Monday morning. They're very good about that, but we do not currently have weekend support. Thanks, Lisa. Tim, is there anything else we can cover for you, sir? I just want to make sure we covered all our bases. I believe you'd mentioned to me that the wire service, you guys are shutting that off January 1st. Is that still correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Right, so you will not use any, this will be the only method of electronic funds transfer as of January 1st. So if you haven't, or you're doing any wire type transfers, we are no longer going to be accepting those or putting out that information. Those accounts will be changed to those wire pieces of paper that have wire information. Those will no longer be valid as of January 1st. So this will be the only option for you.
Tim, I have a question.
Sure.
What about it with closings if attorneys are wiring commissions?
That's still different. That's totally different.
Okay.
Commissions are still going to be handled the way they're handled with the attorneys. This is just for receiving the earnest money from the client.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Tim, I would simply say, let me know personally if you need us to send out any reminder emails to the updates on how to use the system or short videos, or anything you guys might need before this close down that other avenue on January 1st.
Yeah, we'll probably send it out next week or so. So Blaine, if you want to get that ready, that'd be great.
You bet. Just a short .loop video would be helpful. You bet.
Yep, that'd be fantastic.
We'll cover that for you.
Thank you so much. All right, if there's no further questions, just in case, the old-fashioned paper check will still work. Correct. Paper checks will still work. We still are accepting paper checks as long as the office is open. Should we be totally shut down and there's no office being open, then this will be the only way to get funds. But otherwise, yes, paper checks are still good to go. All right. Any other questions? I don't see anybody unmuting. No hands. No chat. All right. Thank you, Blaine. Thank you, Jenna. I will talk to you guys and we'll set something up for maybe January, February again, just to bring anybody that's still behind or new people coming in. Otherwise, y'all have a great weekend. Stay safe, wear your masks, and enjoy the beautiful weather for the weekend.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye, everybody.